and welcome. So today we are starting another video on the global internal audit standards. This is in continuation of our effort after the standards are issued by the Institute of Internal Auditors in January. We have covered 3 videos already which are about the introduction of those standards, a summary of the standards, and domain 1, which is purpose of internal auditing. Now we are starting domain 2, and in this video we'll be covering the standard 1.1, honesty and professional courage. So as per our practice, we'll start by asking some interesting questions, and then all along the line we'll get answers to those questions. How conformance with domain 2 helps? Does domain 2 of the new standards replace the IAS Code of Ethics as per the previous version? What are 5 principles of domain 2? How internal auditors should enhance awareness and understanding of honesty and professional courage, and how this can be incorporated in the performance evaluation. So let's just quickly recap the 5 domains of the global internal audit standards. Domain 1 is already covered, which is purpose of internal auditing. The domain 2, which we are now starting, ethics and professionalism. Then domain 3, governing the internal audit function. And domain 4, about managing the internal audit function. Domain 5 is performing internal audit services. So this is a change point. The new standards actually replaces the Code of Ethics, which was part of the International Professional Practices Framework in the previous version, are now replaced by this domain, which is having its own principles and standards. So all how auditor has to behave, or we can say that behavioral expectations from the internal auditors are explained by this domain as a replacement of Code of Ethics, and it covers the ethics and professionalism and how they summarizes it, how what is expected from an internal auditor from that aspect, and from the chief audit executive or from any external service provider who is working and fulfilling the duties as the outsourced internal audit function. And how the conformance with the principles and standards within this domain too helps the internal auditor and the chief audit executive. This actually inculcates trust in the profession, creates an ethical culture within the internal audit function, provides the basis for reliance on internal auditors' work and judgment. So as per general rule, all the internal auditors are required to conform with the standards of the ethics and professionalism. In the scenario of that internal auditor is working for an organization, which is the generally happens with most of the auditors, and you need to abide by the Code of Ethics of that organization as well. But in that scenario, you need to still abide by all the requirements of these standards, and you need to follow and conform with this, so that that is a requirement, because you are being a member and then you are implementing the standards, and once you will go through an external assessment, this also will be part of that conformance. So that's why I need to take care of this conformance as well as the conformance of the organization as well. What is expected from the chief audit executive? Internal auditors are responsible for their own conformance, but the chief audit executive need to support them, promote conformance with the principles and standards, need to discuss frequently in the meeting this about the ethics and professionalism, need to provide trainings, need to provide opportunities to the internal auditors so that they can make conformance and be attentive to the situations which drag them towards challenging and towards challenging their ethics and professionalism by those situations. And also at the end, chief audit executive is accountable for the ethics and professionalism of the internal audit function overall. So let's see the positioning of the standard 1.1, which we are covering right now, and see the overall domain 2. So domain 2 having 5 principles. Number 1 is demonstrate integrity, then maintain objectivity, then principle 3 is demonstrate competency, 4 is exercise due professional care, and then maintain confidentiality. 13 standards. Principle 1 is having 3 standards, 1.1 in honesty and professional coverage, which we are covering now. Then 1.2 is organization's ethical expectations, legal and ethical behavior is the third one. Then for domain principle 2, we have standard 2.1, individual objectivity. 2.2 is about safeguarding objectivity and then disclosing impairments to objectivity. For principle 3, demonstrate competency, we have 2 standards. 3.1 is competency and 3.2 is continuing professional development. Then we have principle 4, exercise due professional care. 4.1, conformance with the standards. Then 4.2, which is about due professional care. 4.3 is about professional skepticism. For principle 5, maintain confidentiality, we have 2 standards. 5.1 is use of information and 5.2 is protection of information. So as per the requirement of principle 1, demonstrate integrity. Internal auditors demonstrate integrity in their work and behavior. Integrity is the foundation of the other principles of ethics and professionalism, including objectivity, competency, due professional care, and confidentiality. The integrity of internal auditors is essential to establishing trust and earning respect. Integrity is behavior characterized by adherence to moral and ethical principles, including demonstrating honesty and courage to act based on relevant facts, even when facing pressures to do otherwise or when doing so might create potential adverse personal or organizational consequences. In simple terms, internal auditors are expected to tell the truth and do the right thing, even when it is uncomfortable or difficult. So there are 3 standards as part of this principle. Standard 1.1, honesty and professional coverage, which we will be covering now. 1.2 is organization's ethical expectations, and 1.3 is legal and ethical behavior. So let's now understand the requirement of the standard 1.1, honesty and professional coverage, and also what an auditor must do and must not do. So as per the requirement, internal auditors must perform their work with honesty and professional courage. The internal auditors must be truthful, accurate, clear, open, and respectful in all professional relationships and communications. So in all the situations, internal auditor is consistent in these scenarios. Even when expressing his skepticism or offering an opposing viewpoint. So these characteristics internal auditors needs to keep in their mind. They need to self-assess that are they accurate, clear, they are truthful in their communication, they are open, and also respectful is a very important area. Internal auditors must not make false, misleading, or deceptive statements, nor conceal or omit findings or other pertinent information from communications. So internal auditors must disclose all material facts known to them that, if not disclosed, could affect the organization's ability to make well-informed decisions. This practically happens when internal auditor under a certain situation, or when you are auditing sacred cows and you are under a pressure. So you are actually not making a false statement, but you can make misleading statements in order to in that pressure, because the person you are dealing with can have an impact on your job security, or can have an impact on your life somehow, on your upcoming appraisal. So there are so many areas where you can get affected or you have that feeling of getting affected. So that is why an internal auditor may incline towards doing something which he thinks that he is straightforward but can give a misleading statement, or maybe he can misrepresent something. Internal auditors must exhibit professional courage by communicating truthfully and taking appropriate action even when confronted by dilemma and difficult situations. The chief audit executive must maintain a work environment where internal auditors feel supported when expressing legitimate evidence-based engagement results, whether favorable or unfavorable. So as part of consideration for implementation, the internal auditors should enhance their awareness and understanding of the honesty and professional courage. That should be by seeking opportunities to obtain ethics-related CPEs. How this helps the auditors? This helps in creating awareness in hypothetical situations. Workplace training, mentorship, and supervision allows internal auditors to learn and practice skills such as tact and respectful communication, which are needed to apply professional courage effectively in real situations. And what internal auditors should do when encounter such situation? So in those situations that challenge internal auditors' honesty and professional courage, they should discuss the circumstances with the supervisor to determine the best course of action. And what a chief audit executive should do? To support internal auditors, the chief audit executive should arrange opportunities for education and training, as well as discussions of hypothetical and real situations that require making ethical choices, and how this can be incorporated in the professional evaluation. Effective management of the internal audit function includes proper engagement supervision and periodic reviews of internal auditors' performance. For example, when approving work programs or reviewing engagement work papers, an engagement supervisor may provide appropriate guidance to help internal auditors address potential or encountered situations that could pose a threat to their honesty and integrity. So as part of evaluating internal auditors' performance, the chief audit executive may solicit feedback about their honesty and professional courage from the stakeholders with whom internal auditors interact. And also this is such an important trait and requirement from the internal auditors, because that when you are recruiting the internal auditors and establishing your department, at that time also need to know how need to verify and check their integrity and honesty. And the first thing is check what they have written on the CV. If they are honest on their CVs, that is the first tick that they are honest and straightforward, and that would help in during the working environment. And they are not getting the job by making false claims. So this is how you can move forward and build a department based on integrity and ethics. So how the evidence of conformance will be kept and shown for the standard 1.1. A training plan that includes ethics education and training. Most of the organization for keeping membership, they want us to cover ethical standards or ethical CPEs like Certified Fraud Examiner, Association of Certified Fraud Examiner. They want us to have at least, I think, 2 hours. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. So there is a requirement of many organizations, institutes where you are having a membership. Documents that evidence internal auditors' attendance or participation in those trainings. Performance evaluations showing honesty and professional courage. Feedback from key stakeholders regarding the honesty, courage of the internal auditors. Maybe you can add surveys when you are finishing audit and you're getting surveys. You can make this part of those surveys. Also, maybe you can add the employment application form or your comments or the comments of the interviewers when they are verifying the integrity, honesty. So there are many ways you can show your conformance with the standard 1.1 Honesty and Professional Courage. So this covers our standard 1.1 Honesty and Professional Courage. Thank you so much for watching. Keep liking my videos, subscribe the channel, share my videos to your friends and colleagues so that they can get benefit from the videos. A more good stuff is coming soon, so hopefully we'll try to be faster when we are covering all these new standards, and hopefully much before the due date of implementation we'll try to have a proper coverage of the standards. Thank you so much and keep watching.